In my last Editing Toolbox video, I took you through my top 5 Lightroom shortcuts, so it makes sense to follow that on with my top 5 Photoshop shortcuts. Hey everyone, it's Craig Turner-Bullock here from Unleashed Education. You've tuned into another Editing Toolbox video, and in these quick videos, Charlotte and I take turns each every week to bring you a quick tip, trick or technique that we think will help you with your pet photography editing. Before I get stuck into this week's video, I thought I would just address the elephant in the room here. Yes, I am wearing a beanie indoors. It is 0 degrees and hailing outside right now. You can probably also hear the drone of my fan, but seeing as I am wearing it, I'll also give you a shameless plug because you can get these fabulous beanies on the Unleashed Education merch store, which I'll put a link for here. Anyway, so this week I'm talking to you about my top 5 Photoshop shortcuts, following on from my top 5 Lightroom shortcuts in my last video. So that's enough of my waffle, let's just do it. First of all, when I open an image in Photoshop, my first step is almost always to make a duplicate layer so I can keep a copy of the background layer without kind of ruining what's there and destructively editing those pixels. So for that, your shortcut is Command and J. So that's the first one. I guess my next most used shortcut is for the brush tool. So that is just pressing B. Now there is another shortcut here that you can use. So this is a little bit of a cheat again. I have got some extras in here like I did last time. You can use the square brackets to change your brush size. However, you can also use Control and Option together, and either with your Wacom pen or you're clicking and dragging with your mouse. So I'm clicking now and you can see that this red overlay has come up. And if I move my mouse left or move my mouse right, it changes my brush size. Not only that, but if I move my mouse up, it gets softer, and down, it gets harder. So that is a really handy shortcut. I'll just run through that one again because it's a little bit more tricky. So Option and Control, click and drag left and right for brush size, up and down for brush hardness. My next shortcuts kind of relate to color, I guess, and they are a little bit of a cheat again because there's 2 of them. Command and B will bring up your color balance. So you can adjust color balance on your images, and likewise we can go Command and U, and that will bring up our hue, saturation and lightness panel. So we can change all of those things, and we can adjust individual colors as well. So those are my color related adjustments that I use quite often. Next up, we've got some tools for repairing, and again I'm giving you 2 shortcuts here. They are the ones that I use most of the time for removing blemishes, fixing up things, removing leashes, all of that good stuff. We have just J on its own. J brings up the patch tool, that's the shortcut for the patch tool. And my other one is S, and S is for the clone stamp tool. S for stamp, I think, on this one. So clone stamp, S, patch tool, J. And just one on the fly here while I'm doing it, we are going to go Command and D, which will deselect that patch that I've just had selected there, so I can show you my next shortcut. So shortcut number 4 is for cropping, and that's another easy one. C is for cropping, so we press C on the keyboard. This shortcut and this tool also operates in much the same way as it does in Lightroom. So if we press Enter to bring up our cropping ratio and our cropping overlay there, we can actually press X to rotate our crop, and we can press O to change our cropping overlays as well. And finally, another one that I use quite often, and that is to merge the layer down to the layer below, and that is Command and E. So that has now merged the layer I was working on to the layer below, which just so happens that it was the background layer. And so now I have no more layers in the image. And that's pretty much it really. There's a few cheats along the way there again, so my top 5 plus a few more tips for my favourite Photoshop shortcuts. I hope that that's been helpful for you and it speeds up your workflow a little bit, and I'll see you again in another Editing Toolbox video very soon.